Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and today I want to talk about lies. Lies in particular that busy, exhausted moms either believe or have heard or have been told about why you're so tired all the time, why you don't have any energy, and lies that I think are important to maybe understand the reasons behind them and the complexity behind them. Because some of them are not necessarily lies in the entirety, but just to know how to sort of pick apart the truth and what you can work on. Lie number one, you're exhausted because you're not getting enough sleep. This may be true. If you're going to bed and you're only in bed for 4 or 5 hours a night and you're exhausted all the time, you're probably going to need more sleep. But the reality is that the quality of your sleep is just as important as the quantity. If you're already in bed for 8 hours a night, going to bed for 9, 10, 11 hours is probably not going to increase your energy that much. You likely need a different approach. You need a different take. You might need some external help. There probably are some other underlying reasons as to why you're exhausted all the time. And just adding more time in bed is likely not going to get you there. Lie number two, you're not exercising enough. The reason that you're exhausted all the time is because you don't move enough. This also might be true. We do need to move every day. We need to exercise every day. So I want to differentiate those. Exercise is really important. It's a necessity. We need to move our bodies, but I like to focus on the word movement because for me, movement can mean anything. It can mean going up and down the stairs. It can mean walking, parking further in the parking lot to getting to the store. We don't really think about that as exercise, but that is movement. It counts toward your daily total. So whether you want to consider it movement or exercise, it doesn't matter. But this idea that you're exhausted because you're not exercising enough, it's very easy as busy, exhausted moms to actually over-exercise. Tired, depleted, exhausted moms tend to be in a state of heightened, I'm going to say stress, so stress response, and exercise can actually add to that. So if you're making sure that you're getting in your 30, 40, 60-minute workout every day and it's leaving you exhausted and depleted, you might actually be over-exercising. When we're exhausted, when our stress levels are high, dialing back our vigorous, intense activity or exercise can actually, a little bit paradoxically, help improve our energy. So if you're feeling exhausted and you think it might be because you're not getting enough exercise, you might be getting too much. Gauge how your stress levels are. If your stress levels and depletion and burnout is high, the exercise can be dialed back. Lie number three, you're not doing enough self-care. You're not taking enough time for yourself. Again, this is a complicated one because it's not entirely potentially false, but there's a lot of nuance there. Self-care for me is a really, really tricky word, and maybe I'll do a deep dive into self-care another day. But I think that we're often doing the wrong self-care in the wrong time. It's exceptionally important to take care of yourself, but we all have limited time and you want to make sure you're getting the best, I'm going to call it bang for your buck when you're doing self-care. So a lot of people will say, well, my self-care is a glass of wine before dinner to unwind. I would argue that form of self-care is actually probably hurting you rather than helping you. Pedicures are wonderful. They're very relaxing, they're enjoyable, but the payoff for that investment of an hour is generally not that high, right? So you might enjoy it in the moment, but it's not going to help you in the long term necessarily. We need to make sure we're doing the right self-care at the right time. So this lie that you're not spending enough time doing self-care, there might be some truth to the fact that we need to have more time working on ourselves, but be careful about what you fall into with the idea of self-care, because getting putting your energy into the right things again is going to give you far more benefit than just doing things that are generally labeled as self-care. Lie number four, we always need to stay on track. Life ebbs and flows. That's how it works. We have good days, we have bad days. We have more energy, we have less energy. We have ups, we have downs. That's how life goes. It's the same with habits, healthy habits, exercise, eating, sleeping. All of those things are going to ebb and flow. We get on these kicks, these stints of really like maybe we're moving every day or maybe we're eating really healthy, and then we get sidetracked, whether it's a holiday or a birthday or um, change of season, doesn't really matter, but we get off the track. A lot of us have this expectation that we need to be doing everything right all the time, and that is just not true. Understanding that life is going to be fluid, things change, will help us to give ourselves a lot more grace and forgiveness when we get off that track. And when we give ourselves a lot more grace and forgiveness, it helps us get back on the track that we need to be on. So the next time you feel like you've failed, if you haven't been perfect in your habits or your food or your eating, just remember that nobody's perfect. This is how life works, ebbs and flows, and you can get yourself back on track. And that's the most powerful thing to keep yourself feeling amazing. Lie number 5, healthy food isn't delicious. So this again is another conversation in and of itself, but um, there's a lot of scientists spend a lot of time and money researching how to make processed food delicious. It's designed to stimulate all of our senses, all of the fat and the sweet and the salty and the sugar, all of those things. It's meant to come together and be the perfect food for all of those senses. But people underestimate how incredibly delicious healthy food can be too. And I don't love the idea that people think it's all or nothing. They think that, well, I only can eat healthy food. I can't eat junk food or treats or anything like that, because that's not the case either. But most cravings, hunger, all of those things can be satisfied with really delicious, healthy food. Even from when I started kind of dabbling in the healthy food world, let's say 10 to 15 years ago, there's just so many more resources and ideas and inspiration that if there is I'm going to say a junk food or a treat that you love to have on a regular basis or a daily basis, I guarantee there is a healthy alternative out there that you're going to enjoy just as much. So experiment, try to find new things, open your mind to the fact that healthy food is delicious and enjoyable and satisfying, but you can also feel great when you eat it. And line number 6 is that you just need to plan your time better. There are 24 hours in a day. I wish there were more. I would love to be able to do that, but I can't, and that's the reality. And it's also the truth that we don't really all have the same 24 hours. A lot of people with different jobs, different demands, different hobbies, different activities, different lifestyles, different all sorts of things really have access to those 24-hour periods in a very different frame of time. And so I've heard this saying before that, you can have it all. And I think that's very misleading. I think this idea that you can have it all if you just like plan your day better, or if you just, schedule your day better I think it's a lie. I don't believe that we can have everything perfect all the time. And I think where we need to be realistic on this and on these expectations is that planning is important. Understanding how much time you have at your disposal to do certain things is important. Not over promising. So again, back to like a workout, for example, just because you can't put in an hour every day for your workout doesn't mean you can't be successful in a 10-minute workout a day. So I think that's important. But what's really important here is priorities. I don't believe you can have it all, but I do believe you have space in your calendar and your schedule in your life to fit in the things that are most important to you. And I have no idea what that is for you. I know what my priorities are for me. And again, it's not always about the quantity of time you have for your priorities, but it's also about the quality of time. So think about what are the big things that you want to achieve, whether it's through schooling or a hobby or training or work or parenting or relationships or physical activity or cooking or whatever it is. Think about what you really want to achieve and what can you kind of shift in your life potentially to free up a little bit more time. So can you have it all? I don't believe that we are meant to do all of the things all of the time perfectly, but I do think we have the ability to streamline our time a little bit more and make sure that we're putting our energy and our efforts into the things that are important for each of us individually. So those are 6 lies that I've heard a lot. I've seen a lot. I have believed at some point myself. Are there lies that I'm missing? Are there other things that you have believed or you currently believe? Are any of those lies ringing true to you? Do you need help kind of re-envisioning how your life will look if those lies aren't necessarily true? What will that look like for you? If you need any help or support, specifically in the area of sleep or habits, let me know. Happy to help, and I hope you have a great day.